Well, beauty schools are banding together, pushing back against a bill that would allow customers to waive licensing requirements for a lot of professions.
We've been telling you about this proposal. Last night, we looked at the impact to the tattoo industry. The measure would allow a customer to sign a waiver, clearing the way for an unlicensed person to perform services for them.
This covers a range of professional services in Tennessee, from accountants to architects, plumbers to private investigators. The bill lists 27 categories, which would normally require a license, registration, or certification.
As for the pushback, you can see it in the form of a website and petition sponsored by several beauty schools, calling deregulation, quote, a deterrent to customer safety, or rather consumer safety.
That's right. Well, our top story tonight, reporter Kirsty Crawford has been out today talking to opponents as well as the lawmaker behind the bill. Kirsty.
That's right, Lori. This bill would make it easy for anyone to start their goal career in those 27 industries without having to worry about red tape and passing tests. But the side against the bill says those tests and licenses are there for consumer protection. Adam Brown is one of several not in favor of deregulating certain professions. As the owner of Tennessee School of Beauty, he knows firsthand why education and licensing is necessary for cosmetology.
Cosmetology is one of the only industries in the nation that's licensed in all 50 states. And there's obviously a reason for that. And my thinking is Tennessee doesn't need to be, the first one to get away from that or race to the bottom.
House Bill 1945 would become a hairstylist or architect or plumber without a license. Clients would only need to sign a waiver saying they know the person is unlicensed. Representative Martin Daniel, the sponsor of the bill, says the deregulation will allow people to follow their dreams without hassle. He says 75 years ago, only 5% of occupations required licenses. Now it's 25%.
Many of these occupations, the licenses simply don't make sense. So we have auctioneers. To become an auctioneer, you have to undergo 2 years of training. To become a cosmetologist, you have to undergo 1 year of training. But on the other hand, an EMT only has to undergo 40 hours of training.
Jen Yeager owns Salon Yeager. She says EMTs could be the ones seeing more work if unlicensed cosmetologists start their own salon. As a requirement for being licensed hairstylists, they're taught the proper sanitizing techniques along with other safety practices.
So you have a right to be whatever you want to be when you wake up in the morning, career-wise. But I'm going to say to you, you have the right to have a safe, clean environment where you're receiving your services by someone who is a well-trained professional. That's a right that we want.
Representative Daniel says licenses will still exist for those occupations. He says it could even be an advertising point for those businesses. He also says consumers will have more cheaper options if licenses weren't required. The cosmetologists say that an average person is knowledgeable, but they might not be informed enough to know if an unlicensed person is the best option.